right, welcome to the Grown Up Show, everyone. We're being a grown up is always up for debate. My name is Danny Barros, alongside my longtime buddy Anthony Hall.
What's up?
Back to the what's up.
Yeah,
Nice, man.
I'm sticking with it.
Nice. All right, episode 11, man. This is gonna be fun.
Over the hump.
Yeah, we're definitely turning new stones and make new milestones out of it. So let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a busy week though, man. I had a couple of birthdays in my house.
Yeah, you did.
You know, what mine included. I don't like to brag, but
Oh my God, I never even officially said happy birthday to you.
You
did I?
Yeah, you did.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I feel like I don't remember. Well, happy birthday, man.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Big Tray 5, you know, DB Tray 5.
I always forget that you're younger than me.
By like a month.
I know, but it's still like, because I'm a July birthday, it's usually like I'm one of the last, right? If you're going off like the school year type thing. I always forget that, no, you're the last.
I graduated high school at 17 years old. Like I was like one of the youngest in the class.
Yeah.
You know, my entire life, obviously, growing up. And it's interesting because, like, you know, being the youngest, playing sports, I was always like the smallest, you know, and then so that was always interesting. But like my son is also an August birthday. Like he had his birthday a few days before mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of did the opposite with him. Rather than start him kindergarten to where he'd be the youngest in the class, we did it the following year, so he'll be the oldest.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so, you know, hopefully it pays off by the time he's in high school or whatever, playing sports. Maybe he's got an advantage size-wise against, you know, the competition or whatever.
Stomp fools by being a few months older.
Yeah, because he's kind of on that cusp. And I mean, there's a few people we knew who did the same thing, like with like an October birthday. I mean, it's a little bit easier to identify that, but August, you're kind of like, it's kind of right there on the cusp. We can take it or leave it. So we decided to wait it out a little bit longer, and I think we made the right choice. So
nice, man.
Yeah.
Dual birthdays.
So. Well, yeah, it was pretty big.
Let's open these beers and we can officially cheers you.
Oh, that's cute, bro.
On your birthday. Hey,
thanks, man.
It's the only way I'm able to have a beer with you right now.
Okay? It's true.
And because of all like our healthiness stuff, this is actually, I don't think I've said this, but this is the only beer that I drink every week.
No, I can't say the same, but
well, I have an uphill climb where you're staying even.
Yeah,
I'm trying to lose it, so I'm trying to take. I can show this real quick. This has been my new best friend.
Oh, water
every day,
liquids, nice.
Yeah,
nice. I'd probably drink like 3 of those a day.
I'm only half. Really, 3 gallons?
Yeah, I drink water so much, dude.
Bro,
and I'm not the one that like sips water. Like, it's like, I haven't had water in a while. Like, I go fill it up at the sink, pound, and like fill it up again, like pound, and like that's how I drink water. And then when I come back later, I do the same thing. So by the time like the day is done, I've probably done that like 12 or 15 times.
Dude, it has been so hard for me to get through this every day because I drink water. Like people think I don't drink water, but I drink water, but I'll drink like a glass or 2 a day. Like I just don't drink that much fluid. I just realized that like a couple weeks ago.
You've been peeing a lot more lately?
Oh my God, dude. The other day I was in an hour meeting and I had to leave the meeting twice. I was just like, I'm sorry, I gotta go to the bathroom. And like they're at the end, they're like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I just never realized that. Like I wake up in the morning.
Show them that.
Like, yeah. No, well, it's like I wake up in the morning and I usually have like a glass of water and an energy drink. And then for lunch, I have like a Diet Coke. And then at dinner, I usually have like, most of the time it's a glass of water, but every so often I'll just have like another Diet Coke. And that's like it. That's like all I drink throughout the entire day. Like I don't know why. I just never much for drinking stuff.
See, me, I think it comes with like what how you want your mouth to feel. And like for me, it's like anytime I eat something, like I could take one bite of something, I gotta wash it down with like almost like a full glass of water. Like that's just how I am. Like I need like a wet whistle like all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what she said.
So yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm weird. Like my wife always calls me out for it. Where like when I'm eating, like if we go out and we have like burgers, right? Like when I pick up the burger, I have to eat the whole burger. I can't like if I put it down, it's weird. Something? Yeah, and then like I'll eat the fries, then I eat all the fries, and then I save my drink for last.
Yeah,
like it just I don't know. It's weird.
See, but I'll drink in between. Like if I'm gonna switch from the burger to the fries, that's where I take the drink.
Yeah, see, like I have this thing where like if unless I'm like really thirsty for some reason, but most of the time, like I eat the burger at once, then the fries, then my drink, which I know is weird. Everyone tells me that. So,
It's all
but I
good.
don't know. I just like I've been doing a lot of research with like the health stuff because I'm really like I'm like my goal is to lose weight, but I'm not in a hurry to do that. But my ultimate goal is just to have a healthier diet. And I realized like I got to start drinking more water. So I bought this thing. My a friend I work with, she has one, and I always make fun of her because it's like on her desk on in our Zoom meetings, and it's just like 90% of her screen is this big ass water bottle, right? So I looked them up on Amazon and I grabbed one, and it's been hard. It's like now it's easy, but like the first 3 4 days it was hard to get through the whole thing for me because I just don't normally drink much. Now
Well,
but now
first
I'm
of all, you got to
finally,
remember to keep it with you,
yeah, but
you know, and
now
then like,
I'm going over the hump where now it's like I kind of need it. Like I was told that in like some of the research I did, like the first few days when you start drinking a lot of water when you don't normally do that, it's really hard. But
yeah,
after like 3 or 4 days, you get to the point where like you kind of like you need it. And I'm definitely at that point now where it's like this is only half. I've only gotten halfway through today, but that's because I was doing some yard work, so I have my other one. So I have my other like half
nice,
gallon one.
yeah.
So that's why it looks like I'm not as far as I should be, but it's just because I had my other one. So, but yeah, it's been a big change, but it's been nice.
Well, make sure you count the ounces in your beer, and you can add that to your total of liquid intake for right now.
No,
So
man,
you,
it has to be a gallon of water. That's my rule. Anything
all
else is
right.
extra.
Well, let's see. Let's show us what you're drinking today, buddy.
So I'm going with an old time favorite of mine. This is a pretty popular one. I'm sure a lot of people have heard it. It's from a 21st Amendment brewery. It's the Hell or High Watermelon. It's a wheat beer brewed with watermelon. But this is a one.
Yeah,
I
it's a
mean
good one.
I know this is like a Coors Light to Mr. Barros over here, but this
No,
one
it's a good
I
beer.
haven't found it up here for a while, and then I realized just down the street at this little liquor store they had him. So I was like, it's been a
Yeah, no,
while.
it's a fun beer, and I remember drinking a lot of those before Giants games when I would go down there because the 21st Amendment used to be on Second Street,
Yeah.
like right next to the ballpark, and it was a
Hmm.
great little pregame spot to have a couple of beers, and they would always have that on tap. Nice, easy drinking out in the sun, and it's good in the summertime too. Like around the pool, it's good
Yeah.
summer beer
Well,
for sure.
that's why I actually grabbed it because up here, I know you guys have been dealing with the heat too, but up here it's been pushing 100 degrees. So
Yeah,
it's like I just needed something that was nice, and I love it too because you actually can taste watermelon.
yeah, you can taste the fruit for sure.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's been hot here. It's been, we had some heat last week, and it's mellowed out for the most part, but the heat's really brought some nasty fires. But
Yeah, man, it's
before
scary.
we
They're
get too
close
far
too.
into the weeds, let me introduce my beer called Into the Weeds. You
Oh,
know,
oh, nice transition. Holy moly!
from Federation Brewing Company out of Oakland, California, the town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is just a great little Citra dry hop West Coast IPA. 6.3%, 74 IBUs. It's just money. It's just perfect when you need just a nice, crisp reminder of the West Coast IPA. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, man. Happy birthday.
Righteous. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, dude, it was a busy week. 2 birthdays around here. My son turned 8, so I mean, it's hard with the COVID stuff, like trying to have a
Yeah.
birthday, with your family. I mean, obviously we couldn't have a party or do anything. We did a little distance gathering with presents with my parents and my in-laws, just kind of in the driveway, like skating around, doing some stuff. But definitely doesn't feel the same, you know.
Yeah.
But we tried to. I took a few days off work. We tried to make the most of it and just do some day trips around here. We checked out a few skate parks that aren't too close to home that Ryan really likes and wanted to check them out. And we found one really new bike park up there too. And that thing is, I don't know if you saw pictures on my social media, but
Yeah.
that thing was like, it was incredible, dude. I can't wait to go back and bring my bike. Like, 'cause it's just, it has so many jumps. It's almost like resembling of like a terrain park and snowboarding,
Hmm.
where like, there's the entrance and you can choose like three different lines based on your skill level. Like there's a little bit smaller jumps with tabletops, or there's bigger jumps with gaps, like things like that. So depending on your skill level, choose your line and then have some fun, and then they had some more tame snake trails with berms and stuff like that for the kids. And like, oh, it was just, they were having a great time. And I was having a
That's
great time just watching them. So it was fun.
that
It
is
was fun,
awesome.
man. Yeah, and then we hit the beach a little bit over the weekend, on Sunday, Monday when the traffic kinda died down, just because the heat was so hot. And I feel like with the COVID-19 stuff, it's like any, like, other activity that people normally would have done is, like, closed or they can't do it, and so it's so hot that everyone's just like, "Well, the beaches don't close, let's go to the beach," and it's just like, we're getting way too many people out here that it's like, you can't even, like, go enjoy your own beach on those days because by the time you drive to the highway and look around, you're like, let's just turn around and go home.
Yeah.
Like this is ridiculous,
Yeah.
So anyway,
Are the
but
beaches packed with people there like the last few days? Like, is it,
yeah, I
are
mean,
they
during the
pulling a
week right
Florida?
now, since no, I mean, it's bad on the weekends. It's not as bad during the week. I mean, people are starting school right now again too, so I think that's helped the crowd sort of mellow out.
Yeah.
Air quality is not the greatest right now down here anyway, with a lot of the fires going on. So I think that's mitigating some of the crowds as well.
Yeah.
But it's just hit or miss, but the weekends for sure. I mean, the weekends have always been heavier,
Yeah.
and with this sort of, with any nice weather, they get even more heavier. And
Mhm.
so it's like you throw in nice weather, and the fact that nobody can do anything elsewhere anyway, you're just asking for it, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And my only ask is, if you're gonna come to the coast and spend the day here, spend some money here because we need it. It's like it's free to go to the beach, so a lot of times we deal with 100,000 people coming to our town, and they all come and go for free, and they just leave a mess, and we've got taxpayers' money paying to clean it up, but
Yeah.
nobody's spending any money, and so there's no sales tax going back into the city, and that's why we're always hurting. So it's my
Yeah.
one PSA request is, if you're gonna come, spend some money, go to a restaurant, buy
Yeah.
some beer, do something. So
Not a big ask.
no, no, preferably not Taco Bell. I mean, because it's pretty cheap, even though it's right there
Yeah.
on the beach.
Yeah. $3 gets you like 70 items at Taco Bell.
$3 gets you 6 tacos.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It always makes me wonder how they're in business.
Oh, I remember in college one time we went through the drive-through at Jack in the Box one night, and there were 6 guys in the car. And we each wanted 10 tacos. So we ordered 60 tacos
Oh
at
my God.
one order.
Were they ready to go? They
It's
pump
only
them out?
$30.
Damn, that's insane, dude.
They told us to park and we'll bring them out to you when it's
Yeah.
ready.
That's funny, man.
Oh, they were good
Jack
though.
in the
Jack
Box
in the Box
tacos
tacos are
are
legit.
the taco to get when you're drunk, dude. Like, hands
Well,
down.
it's funny because like their hard shell tacos are better than like Taco Bell tacos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like by far.
Yeah, definitely not better for you, but
No, no, none
when
of
you're
it's good
drunk,
for
you're
you.
already past that
Yeah, yeah.
giving a
You just
shit.
want
So
something to eat for
yeah.
sure.
Nice,
How about you
man.
guys? How's the week been?
Our week's been pretty cool, actually. I took 2 weeks off. I'm in my last 2 weeks of paternity leave. I'm a weirdo that really loves my job, so when we had Jack, I actually only took part of my leave because I wanted to get back to work because we had him during like the busiest time of year.
Mhm.
And I have a lot of responsibility in my job, so I just felt obligated to be there and because I want to. I really love what I do. But I'm getting to that point of the year again where it's starting to get busy, and I told my management that I need to take this or I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like, "Well, you need to take it now because come September is when
Yeah.
it starts to get really crazy. We start getting ready for our big time of year is January when everyone's insurance resets. So there's a lot of
Blizzard, is that what
preparation.
you guys call it? Like your
Yeah,
blizzard season
yeah,
or
we call
something?
it our blizzard season. So when everyone's insurance resets. So what I do, without getting into too many details, but I confirm patient insurances for offices. Is one part of my
Sounds
job. So there's a lot of prep that goes into it because we're on an average day we deal with a few hundred patients. On an average day in January, we could deal with upwards of 10,000 patients. So just a lot of prep to make sure that we keep up with the inventory.
Yeah.
I actually was kind of fully redesigned how we're gonna do a lot of it this year. And I was supposed to be off on Monday, but they were holding the meeting that my supervisor wanted me to present all my work on. So she was gonna do it, but we talked because it's kind of a big deal what I've been doing this year. And she wanted me to get the credit, so I pushed it out. I pushed my whole leave back one day for a half-hour meeting.
Dude.
But
Oh,
it was
good.
worth it. It was really good that it was me that presented it because I'm the one that's most like informed because I created it all. So and the feedback I got was really good. So it was nice. I'm happy I did it. Um,
Nice. Nice.
some other things popped up that it was good that I was there. So I have good coverage when I'm gone from when I'm gone, but some things really the only one that can answer. So it was just good timing. So yeah. So Tuesday was my first day off. We went. I've been trying so hard since we've gotten to Portland to get my kids out on their bikes and stuff. We had such a rocky transition here because of the house drama that
Yeah.
and we also live on a hill, so like we don't have a backyard where they can really have enough room to get the hang of things. So when we left Pacifica, I had Nate where he was just about to be on his bike with no help. And then we kind of, we picked up, shipped out, and we hadn't really gotten back on the bikes and stuff since. And my kids, they were into it, but they weren't like really into it. So it kind of took the back seat a little bit, unfortunately. But my 2 weeks off, I was like determined to get these guys out and get them on their scooters. I just bought them some really nice scooters, thanks to you and your advice. The scooters are badass little scooters.
Yeah, I love those, dude.
And then I've had bikes for them both, which they've of course grown out of them both. But we've just been going to town. We went out on Saturday and Sunday, and then we took. I worked Monday, and then we went out yesterday. And it's kind of crazy because Nate went from a little scooter that he ripped on pretty good, but it had two front wheels, so you didn't really have to
Yeah,
worry
like
about
the
balance.
little mini micro one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So from that to this is a full on like extreme
Stunt
sports
scooter, yeah.
scooter with two wheels. And
But
so
doesn't it feel like solid? Doesn't it just feel
dude,
like
I dip
even you
around
can
on
get
the
on
thing.
it? Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like they feel so solid that like it honestly like compared to like a Razor scooter, like anyone would have trouble riding a Razor scooter. But when you get these things, it's like, oh, this actually helps you
yeah,
do the sport good because you're using good equipment,
yeah, yeah. No, it's like aircraft aluminum. It's
Yeah.
really nice and sturdy and durable. But he went from like messing around with it in the backyard a little bit, kind of scared of having to balance, to where we've been going to this high school down the road that has a huge parking lot that's gated off, but like you can get in it if you're walking. So we just park out on the street
Yeah.
and bring our stuff in, and it's super chill. It's been cool because like the campus security and stuff is still there, and they've been fine with it. But it's a huge parking lot. He's dipping around the entire parking lot, and then finally, Luke is kind of like whatever. I was honestly thinking it was going to be opposite. I thought Luke was going to straight up know how to ride a bike before Nate. But Luke's
Yeah.
kind of like whatever. Like he messes around on the old little Strider, which is way too big for or too small for him. But he just he's just kind of just feeling it out, doing his
It's
thing.
comfortable for him, yeah.
Yeah, so he tinkers on that. And he picks up his scooter and messes on it a little bit, but then he likes to just run. So I'm kind of with him. I'm kind of just like, you know what?
Chasing Nate.
Yeah, he's getting on it. He's doing his thing, and then he's off, and it's fine. It's with me with anything that they want to do. I'm kind of just like at their own pace. I don't really push it or anything. But Nate was kind of dipping around on his scooter, and I just asked him if he wanted to try his bike. And so I have like the little handle on the back of their bike. I never put training wheels on their bike, because I'm kind of anti training wheels. But I think the handle is good. Just it's easier for me to like push him and be able to catch him a little bit, right? And this guy just yesterday just took off, and I let go, and he was dipping around, and I think it took us about 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's
Now he's got it.
getting there. So he's got to learn how to start on his own, and he's learning how to stop. But we're gonna go out tomorrow. I think in the next day or
By
two.
the end of the week. By the end
Yeah,
of the
he'll
week,
he'll
have it
be
down.
all over the place. So
Yeah.
it was just really cool to see. It's been something that's been bugging me because he's 7. He should know how to ride a bike by now. But
Hey,
life.
everybody does it on their own time, you know?
Yeah. But he is just so pumped about it, and it's just really cool to see. It's something I think he really needed. And he's excited
Yeah.
about it. So
Well, it's just gonna make him wanna do it more now too, which is cool, you
yeah,
know? And then
yeah.
it helps it's like you're gonna see, like, it's gonna get you outside, like, you just bought something, you know what I mean? You
Yeah,
know?
so I bought their scooters, and after seeing how quickly Nate picked up on the scooter, I realized like I need something to kind of keep up with him and stuff. So I went and bought a nice little cruiser skateboard, which was something I've actually been wanting to do for a while, but just haven't had a reason to. And now I had a reason, so I did it.
A really good reason to, yeah.
Yeah, and it's fun and it's cool because he wants to race and it's keeping him going.
Yeah,
So it's been
yeah.
fun. I do have one freaking sour moment with this stupid ass thing. I told my wife I was buying a skateboard, and she starts clowning at me like, "Oh, you're gonna, buy pads and all this stuff." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Shut up! What do you like? You do realize like my entire childhood was on skateboards and bikes. Like I was really big into BMX biking and stuff, but not to ride a skateboard and everything." And so she's just like clowning me, and she's like, "It's not about what you're not a kid any." She's like, "You're not a kid anymore. You're old." And I'm like, "Shut up! What are you talking about?" Right?
Has she
So
seen my Instagram? Yeah.
yeah, I'm just like, but she's just hating on me. So she's like, just make sure Nate knows how to dial me on the phone. So shit, we have to call the
Oh,
ambulance. And
yeah.
I'm
I
like,
can
oh,
just imagine the
shut
amount of
up,
shit that
dude.
your wife gave you.
Yeah, just being the hater that she is, right? So we're out there and I'm just cruising around. And sure enough, I freaking not paying attention. I'm just cruising and I'm watching Nate and I hit a little freaking acorn.
Yeah,
And I'm
just a
going
little
like
rock.
4 miles an hour, but like because I wasn't paying attention and alert,
Yeah,
I just took a little
yeah,
stumble. I landed on my knee. I was wearing shorts, so I have like a tiny little scuff on my knee, right? It's like no big deal, but like to her, seeing
yeah,
it when I got home, it was like the greatest
yeah,
moment of her life,
yeah, I
right?
told you, I
Yeah,
told
like
you.
the second I landed, I seriously out loud I just said, "Fucking Jen, man, like it's her fault, dude." Like and it was like the most, but it was like the most sorry little thing. It was like I got right up. It was no big deal. Even Nate was just like went and grabbed the skateboard and was just we were
Yeah,
like whatever. But I didn't even look at my knee until like 20 minutes later and saw like there's
yeah,
a little blood on it. But I was just like so salty after. I was like, oh, she's gonna freaking never let me live this down. But
I know.
it's
You're
cool
more
that
mad about
the
what she's gonna say than the fact that you fell, you know?
oh yeah yeah. So but it's cool. The skateboard's super dope. I'm loving it. It's nice just being able to cruise around, and it's also nice because it's like I'm able to kind of show them about like balance and stuff on it, and
Yeah.
and it,
Well,
and it
and they'll
transitions to both the
eventually
bike and the scooter. So,
well, and what's
um,
gonna happen, like what happened with my kids, it's like I'm really big on skateboarding personally, but then scootering and biking was kind of their introduction to it all.
yeah,
And then now it's like and like my oldest, like he used to just, "Oh no, dad, all I want to do is scooter. I don't want to skateboard because A, he wasn't that good at he was really good at scootering, he wasn't really good at skating. And slowly over the past like 3 or 4 months, he's gotten a little bit better at skateboarding and now it's like he doesn't want a scooter anymore. He just wants to
yeah,
skate. And so it's like the natural progression and
yeah,
transition of like, okay, well, scootering does it's like the gateway
yeah,
to everything. It's almost like a gateway. Oh, it's the gateway drug, but it's like it gives you that balance and the ability to like if you do go to the skate parks or whatnot with like the scooter, you ride the same ramps and you get to learn what it means to turn and carve and all that kind of stuff and what
yeah,
that lean feels like and all that because a lot of that's the same. You just take
mhm.
the handlebars away. So it's
Yeah,
not it's
and
not very different.
that's why I started them on scooters is because they had the comfort of the
Yeah,
handlebars, but
it gives them the confidence they need to participate. You
yeah,
know.
and it's just easier for them to put their foot down, But I think that's really what helped him get going on the bike so fast. Is I sat on his bike and I kind of showed him like sat still, took my feet up off the ground and showed him how like it took a couple seconds for me to start to tip over and like, talk about balance and everything and how like the bike is almost the exact same thing as your scooter. It's just you're sitting down instead of standing
Yeah,
up and like
yeah,
once it started clicking, that's when he just took off.
yeah.
So it just I think like a scooter is a great way to start a kid on like that kind of extreme sports or just like
Oh, for sure.
biking and stuff. It's just so easy, especially when you get them to like the two wheel ones. Once they can stand and kind of cruise on a scooter for a minute, go into the bike. I literally saw it firsthand yesterday. The transitions very fast and easy. So
Yeah. Well, I like having like the options available too. Like when we head out, it's like we got the bikes, the scooters, the
yeah,
skateboards, they're all with us. And it's like at that point, it's like, okay, what do you want to ride?
yeah,
And it's like, okay. Or like Ryan will go in, he'll hit the skate park for like the first half hour with his scooter. and then he'll come back to the car and like throw his knee pad or his wrist guards on and go hit out there with the skateboard for like
Yeah.
another hour and a half, and like
Yeah.
maybe mix and match and do that kind of thing. But it's fun. It's fun, man. And I feel like, at this age, it's like you don't want them to concentrate on one too much. It's like you want them to have fun with all of it and
Mhm.
then figure out which one you like the best. And then you can maybe focus a little bit more attention to one versus the other, you
Yeah.
know? So,
Yeah, exactly. Right now, it's just all about them having fun and doing what they want to do. And yeah, the options is great. And I mean, it's a big thing for Luke because I'm trying to push Luke on the scooter a little bit. One, because I think it'll, like you did Nate, it'll help him get comfortable and then get on the bike because he's all about his old bike.
yeah,
Um, and two, because I spent $120 on that damn thing, he better freaking ride it. But
he'll ride it. And the more Nate rides it, the more he'll want to ride it,
yeah, and
And
the
the
cool
better
thing
Nate
is,
gets.
yeah, and
So,
Nate's catching on, and Nate's really good at helping with that type of stuff. So like even yesterday, he was like, "Luke, you want to ride your scooter with me?" And get him kind of pumped up about it. But
you guys should just like find like a local skate park, not necessarily for them to ride, but like go by it one day and just like watch.
yeah,
And I guarantee you, like Nate will start getting an itch, dude, because he's like, oh, I got a scooter, I can do that,
yeah.
or I can try that, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. My goal is I want them to know how to just ride first before they
Yeah,
get. Because even Nate, like I was trying to get Nate excited about it, and I was riding a scooter in the backyard because he was getting frustrated. Because it's also like we have that like pea gravel type of cement, so it's really
yeah,
bumpy,
yeah,
right? And he was getting a little frustrated because we opened him, put him together, and he just wanted to get on it. And it's like, well, you can ride back and forth in the backyard, but it's like just a little straightaway. Nothing worth it, worth getting excited about. But he was getting frustrated, so I hopped on it, and then just show him like what you can do. I did like a little bogus freaking tail whip on
yeah,
it, and then but that's like all he wants to do now. It's like, oh, when can I learn how to do the tail whip? I'm like, dude, you need to chill. You need to learn how
yeah.
to ride the thing
Oh,
first.
I know.
So it's like
Yeah,
I don't want to get him too because then they focus on that stuff, and it's like let's just get the basics down. You riding it by yourself, stopping and starting by yourself, then we can start talking about tricks and stuff. So
dude, it's funny that you mentioned like tricks in the tail whip. So, funny story. My youngest, we go to the skate park quite often. My kids are they're not shy. Like they'll go up to anybody there. They'll talk to them about anything. Like my 5-year-old will make like suggestions almost like he's trying to coach like a 20-year-old skater who's just trying like a tray flip off of something and it's like, dude, you should have done this. Like, well, it's like,
oh god.
and like and then he'll be like he'll be like, you can't do that? He's like, I could do that. And then like
Oh,
and then the guy's like, oh, let me see you do it. He's like, no, I don't want to right now. And then he just like goes away, you know?
uh,
And then he'll come up
dude,
to
I'd be
somebody else
mad.
and be like, he'll be
You
like,
little punk.
he'll be like, "Can you tail whip that?" And then he'll be like, "Oh, I can." And be like, he'll be like,
Oh
"Oh,
my
let's see it." And you're
god.
like, "I don't want to right now."
Is that Ryan?
No, it's Zach.
Zach? Oh my god, dude, that's funny, man.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Yeah, and then he comes up to me, he goes, "Dad, I told him that I can do a tail whip over that thing over there." And
Oh
he's
my
like,
god.
"And they believe me." You know? And he's like all giggling away while he's like scootering
Oh,
away.
so sinister. I love it.
Yeah. And it's like the older kids know that obviously he's joking, but like to him, the 5-year-old, like he thinks that they believed him, you know?
Yeah.
It's so
That's
funny.
that's great, dude.
It's
Yeah,
so
but
funny, man.
that's been my week so far. It's just that, and then I'm knocking out some little projects around the house that have been lingering. It's hard to like the weekend comes around, and this has been nice because like I do all the stuff myself, right? And we're in the middle of a remodel, well, towards the end of like a basically a full remodel in many ways. So but I like to do all the finished work myself because first I'll do it right, and it saves us a ton of money.
Oh, yeah,
So like we
for
just had the
sure.
whole house painted, and it's so gross, but we have like 20 exterior lights. So I've been putting the lights back on, or we bought some new ones. So I'm doing that here and there, but it's like I lose like my momentum on the weekends because it's like I work all week, and then my weekend is my real time with the kids because I work a shitty shift. I work from 8 to 5.
Yeah,
So it's like I don't have when I get off, it's like I have like a half hour to play with them before I got to start cooking dinner and everything because they get in the bed at 7:30.
yeah.
So the weekend is my time with them, and then when I spend my weekends doing all these little knickknacks around the house, it pisses me off because I want to spend time with the kids. So I've been losing motivation lately, and on my weekends I've been chilling with the kids, and we've had all these loose ends. So it's been nice having these. I mean, I'm only 2 days into it, and I've already spent a lot of time with the kids. I'm able to kind of split the days, where like half the day I'm playing with them, the other half I'm working on the house stuff, and a lot of times the house stuff they'll help me too. So,
Yeah,
um,
no, that's nice.
so
That's
it's
cool.
getting the motivation back to finish these little projects. Because I'm able to still spend part of the day with them or all of the day if they want to help me with them. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
so yeah, it's been a nice little start to my 2 week vacation. I'm looking forward to the rest of the time.
Hell yeah, dude. So I got a question for you, man.
Yeah.
Um, so I've come across this dude on social media that I found, and I was like, I can't believe I haven't like seen this guy before, I'm almost jealous because like what he's doing, it's like I really wish I would have thought of it.
Hmm.
So if you don't already follow this guy, for those of you out there, you have to follow. There's a guy called Man Ramp. Okay,
Okay.
Man Ramp, MANRAMP on Instagram. And it sounds a lot like what it is. So basically, what he is, I have a feeling that this guy just like he enjoyed skateboarding, but it was never a professional skateboarder. So his way of being amongst the pros was he created this profile for himself as Man Ramp, and he basically goes around dressed in like Carhartt overalls and like a hard hat and whatnot, and like these pro skaters are skating this spot like trying to get this clip, but he has an element where he's like holding a piece of plywood and they're like jumping onto the plywood and then off, and then like or he'll do it like on some other any way, shape, or form. Like he is a part of what it is they're skating. So he's the Man Ramp. Like
Oh
he's
my
holding it
gosh.
up, like he's doing something. Like he's even done something with like Tony Hawk where like he walks across the top of the vert ramp moving like this, and as Tony Hawk jumps up, then he hits like the plywood and then jumps back down. Like the level that this guy's profile has grown is to where it's like everything he's doing now, he's doing with pro skaters for video clips, and he's doing like for Thrasher magazine or whatever. It's insane. And it's just like he gets to hang out with these guys, probably skate with these guys. He's probably like an amateur skater, and like
Hmm.
just have a good time and live the lifestyle, and like he's turned it into a career. I'm like,
That's awesome.
bravo, dude. And
Yeah.
it's entertaining as hell for a follow, because it's like he throws in like some random videos and clips, and they're all the type of videos that like if you've ever watched any skate videos like in the 90s and like the CKY stuff,
Hmm.
it's all like this stupid, funny, like brutally, gruesome or nasty or ridiculous or stupid or just
Yeah.
really bad editing and like whatnot and over the top. But it's that's what the culture's always been, you
Hmm.
know? It is amazing, dude. Is there anybody like that that you can think of like in your world that like people need to follow?
Uh, that's a tough one. Trying to think. I mean, I mean, you could always follow Doctor Disrespect. I know I talked about this guy a lot, but trying to think outside of him because he's pretty funny. I mean, I still love that. This was a big one a few years ago. But there's the some e cards.
Mhm.
That's still a really funny one. They're still going, or they make those little memes, where it's like a drawing,
Was it
and
some e-cards?
yeah, it's pretty funny. It's like those trying to think of what they're actually called. Well, I mean, I guess it's technically an e-card is what it's called,
Yeah.
but it's like the ones where like it's like a picture, like a drawn picture, and then it has like a little quote. That's kind of funny.
Oh, okay.
So, but I mean, I have one that pops off the top of my head that kind of ties into a little bit of a story. I can update on gaming, I guess. So there's a new game that just came out called Fall Guys. It's a
Mhm.
very basic game, and it's kind of taken over the gaming community by storm the last week and a half. But I mean, it's funny because you can play with a controller or mouse and keyboard. I've been playing with a controller. Like you really only need to know three buttons: jump, dive, and grab. And then your typical movement. But it's basically like a bunch of different races and team games, and you're this little funky little character, and it's like you run through an obstacle course, and X amount of people cross the finish line, they qualify, the rest get kicked out, and then you go down to the next game, and then X amount of people qualify, and so there's like 4 or 5 games you play through, and if you make it all the way to the end, you're the last man standing, and you win. Um, so it's been comical because over the last week and a half, all like the big time streamers have been playing it, and Tim the Tatman, which is one that I've talked about a few times in kind of passing, has been playing it, and he cannot win this thing, and it's become up until today, it was like the laughing stock of the gaming community to the point where I'm not even kidding, dude. 300 and I think the peak today was 340,000 people were watching him because
Wow.
every other streamer is making fun of him. And what made it even more entertaining is so the Fall Guys, and you should probably try to catch up on this because their Twitter account has been drilling him all week with just egging it on. It's been hysterical, and it's just been really
Hey,
cool because of like,
it's still good publicity, you
oh,
know?
it's fantastic, but it's been cool seeing like you don't see the developers for games really interact with streamers like that, you know.
Mhm.
And I mean they've been hounding him, man, and it's been so comical. And then like every time he gets eliminated, it's just the chat goes crazy. So today he finally got his first win, and it was pretty fun. I watched it live. It was pretty fun to see, but like the game right before he got to the last round, and he was like one of three left, and he lost, and like right as he was starting the last round, the Fall Guys Twitter account, they tweeted out something like, "Oh, this might be the one. Tim's getting close." And then after when he got eliminated, they tweeted like, "Oh, never mind." And then like he tweet like the person running the account, right, is like, "I wonder if I'll see a win in my lifetime. I'm 30 years old today, so not looking likely." And it's like little jabs like that, but it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, they're really, whoever's running that account is on point with it. I mean, it's brought more publicity to this game than I think they or anyone was expecting. They even got to the point where the servers were so crowded they had like a server delay, and people couldn't get into a game, and it happened to Tim, and they tweeted out like, "Tim, you're sucking so bad you're slowing our servers down. Please stop sucking." And it's like it was really funny to watch and be a part of. But
Oh, yeah.
so
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm sure they're going to continue on with their humor. It's not just around Tim the Tatman, but the real funny stuff has been around it. So I recommend anyone that's into video games first check out the game. It's really cool, and it's really nice. I'm gonna actually con you into probably checking it out after this. It's 20
Yeah, I'll probably
bucks.
play out.
It's $20. It's cool because you can kick back with a controller on PC. I think it's out on PS4 too. It's just it's a nice change of pace. It's competitive, but it's not like you're sitting there focused heavily like you are in Call of Duty or something, you know. And it's just really
Mhm.
simple. It's a kid's game. I had my wife sitting in here the other day who does it could care less about video games, playing, cracking up. So like that, and that really
That says a lot.
a lot because she just doesn't care about if it's not 1985 Zelda, she could care less about it. So she was into it to the point where like I had Jack and he was like getting ready to be fed, and she was like, "Go take him outside. Let me just get through this. Let me try to get through this one more round." Like she was into it, so it was pretty funny to see. The kids can play it. You know, it's 100% family friendly.
Nice.
I think the only downside of it is the grab button can make you rage because what you can do is, you know, these are races, or sometimes there's like team games where you have to collect certain things, but you can grab a person and kind of throw him. And some of the races, you know, you can get thrown off the edge, and you have to kind
Right.
of run towards the edge. And some of these little bastards, they'll grab you and throw you off the edge, and you're just done. And you're just like, it can entice a little bit of rage, but most of the time it's just really fun and funny. So. But yeah, I would recommend that. Individual person, it's really hard. Like I kind of just, I really can't think of anything outside of like on Instagram. There's the, what is it, like fail army or fail
Fail
clips or
Army.
something.
Yeah.
That one's really funny, but it's not like an individual person. I can't think of like an individual person off the top of my head.
Yeah,
But
check out Man Ramp, dude. So much
I'm
fun.
gonna do that when we're done here. But I mean, I always push the fail army. Those
Oh,
videos just
yeah.
get me
Fail
cracking up,
clips.
man.
You
Yeah,
can't go
fail
wrong
clips.
with
Yeah,
fail clips, dude. Any
it's
type of fail clip
yeah,
is just
I think that's one of my
on point.
favorites. Um, yeah, man.
Wild, man. Wild. But I've got another bone to pick, dude.
Okay.
And this one has been bothering me, and I think we're what, like, I don't know, 27 games into the baseball season or something so far. And
Yeah.
I just can't be quiet about this any longer. Have you ever heard the Giants manager Gabe Kapler give an interview?
Yeah. So I heard it once, and
Just once?
just I can't do it, bro. I'm gonna say it.
Oh,
I'm gonna
dude,
say it as a huge Giants fan. The dude is a dork.
dude.
He's a complete dweeb.
I mean, it's just like I feel like he talks himself in circles.
Yeah.
Like he's all over the fucking place in
Yeah.
terms where it's like he's trying to explain a philosophy as to why they made a certain decision there, and it's just like, you know what? We don't need to know what happened. Like Bruce Bochy would have just been like, well, that's the guy we wanted there, and it didn't work out.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
just like,
That's what I love
you know
about
what I mean?
Boach, man.
And
Yeah,
it's
we
like you
made this
don't need
call
to
and it
embellish.
didn't work out.
The other thing that bothers me is like all the people that are asking him these questions, they've been beat writers for years. They've been reporters for years. And then I'm thinking to myself, okay, like every once in a while before the game starts, or I'm listening to like KMBR like right before the game starts because I'm like doing the dishes or something like that or getting dinner ready. And John Miller always has his like it used to be the Bruce Bochy show, now it's the Gabe Kapler show. Like right before the game, like he would always interview the manager. And I'm thinking to myself, John Miller is already in the Hall of Fame. Like he already knows baseball so much. Like the only person who probably knows baseball from an announcing perspective more than John Miller is probably uh what's his name from the Dodgers?
Vince
Vin Scully. Yeah.
Vince Scully, yeah. Or Vin.
And so I'm thinking to myself, like the way Kapler talks and tries to explain his position on everything, it's as if he's talking to a second grader and he needs to explain baseball
Yeah.
in a way that like this person can understand. And I'm like, you really think you need to explain this to John Miller? And first of all, like you don't have to explain anything to anybody.
Yeah.
Like you can just be like, well, you can make up whatever you want. Like look at what Bill Belichick does. Like he doesn't tell anybody anything.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
Bill Belichick's best answer to 90%, 99% of the questions he's asked is this. Is it
yeah,
literally a shoulder shrug? Like
yeah.
sometimes that's the best answer you're gonna get out of that
Well, and
guy.
I like what Belichick goes, well, we were, our objective is to score more points than the other team. We didn't get that done.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's pretty, you can't really argue with
I
that.
feel like Kapler, he's just trying to explain why they're sucking, but it's not working.
It's like he's just making too many excuses and this and that. It's like there's a point where you're talking too much and it sounds that much stupider
Yeah.
of what's coming out
That's
of
why,
your
like, to
mouth.
me, he sounds like a dork. He just sounds like
Yeah.
he's just a
It's like
nervous nerd. Like,
he's trying to sound so sophisticated, like he knows what he's talking about, and he's trying to also be like a good friend to the media and all these different things where it's just like, just worry about being a manager.
yeah,
And people will also respect you if you don't embellish to the
yeah.
extent that you do on everything.
He
You
reminds
know?
me of like the nerd trying to ask the girl out on a date. Whereas, when they go up and they're like, yeah, I was wondering if like you didn't have anything to do this weekend, and I don't know, like if you had plans, or like the ramble before the question.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's how he is with his answers. He doesn't
Oh, I
just
know.
say, like, he just goes on this little ramble thing, and it's like, okay, you could have just said like, oh, we messed up.
Well, and do you remember when not John Madden used to like do football and like towards the end of his career, like you can tell he was getting worse because he was
Yeah,
like he was Captain Obvious or oh he's the best in the league at that or
yeah,
yeah, that's what he's trying to do, get as many yards as he can. It's like yeah,
yeah.
we understand the point.
Well,
It's like
that's
you don't
like,
need to remind us.
you remind me how I am with Kruko. Like, some of my close friends know this. You might know this, and I get a lot of flack for it, but I'm not a fan of Kruko. And the thing that
He's a little too much of a fanboy from time to time.
well, the
Yeah.
thing that triggers me is just how he like calls out basic ass plays. Like, how many times I used to count it, bro, when he would get like a generic ground ball to second base, right?
Yeah.
Oh, welcome to the big leagues. No,
Yeah.
no. If he missed that, that would be a big no. Like, no,
Yeah.
it's like the most standard ground ball. Not
Yep.
welcome to the big leagues. How about like, oh, that was pretty obvious he was going to get that one.
Yeah.
Like, welcome to the big leagues on everything.
Well, like Joe Panic's like diving stop in the World Series with like the flick of the glove to like second base. That's welcome to the big
Yeah.
leagues. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yeah. But just like your
But
generic ground ball to second, like where they grab it and he's just like lobbing, maybe like shuffle steps like two to the left, right? And then
yeah.
like has like kind of an off footed throw where didn't really need to do that, but just kind of went with the flow of his body. Welcome to the big leagues. Like, no, no, not welcome to the big leagues, man. Like
Yeah.
absolutely should have made that play just how he did it every single time. So
But back to Kepler, like one of the points I was trying to make, like so like just like how John Madden would point out just the most obvious comment, like I forget who he was talking about, but Kepler was talking about somebody's at bat, and like literally this is what he said. He's like, "So yeah, well, you know, we're trying. We really want him to swing it, you know, really good pitches in the zone, and we really don't. We really want him to lay off bad pitches that are not in the zone." And I'm just like, dude, like, yeah, like that's what I tell my T-ballers, you know, or
we really want the pitcher to throw the ball over the plate and try not to throw it off the plate. We really
yeah,
want our
it's
batters to swing at pitches and not just stand there and stare at them,
yeah, yeah. And it's just like and you can tell that it's like they're running baseball operations 100% by the analytics,
Yeah, it's
and
obvious too.
it's the analytics that are sometimes putting them in position to lose
Yeah.
games, you know, because it's like things still happen by chance. Like the analytics aren't foolproof. Like, yeah, like it's more probable this is going to happen, but it doesn't mean it's going to,
Yeah.
you know,
It
and
bums me out because it hurts to see the Giants do bad for me. But I am enjoying it in the one aspect of it just shows how much going with the flow and like how Bochy was really mattered. Because it's like you'd go with the guy that was hot, even if like it wasn't the guy that should really be like how many one-off
yeah.
names did we have on our teams over the last decade that had these little spurts that they just were like fantastic,
But
but
that's
then
where
they would
Bochy he
disappeared.
managed with his gut. He managed
Yeah,
from the gut, and he managed like he understood the game enough to manage from his gut. And
yeah,
the difference, like the reason they're going so heavily off the analytics is, and that's part of the reason why they hired Farhan. Like this was like the new direction the Giants were going to go. And I keep saying that I feel like Kapler is just this puppet. You know,
yeah,
he's not necessarily a coach per se. He's somebody they thinks speaks well, even though he doesn't necessarily,
yeah,
you know, because he's going to be essentially your voice of your franchise to the media and like the manager, even though you're basically the puppet in this case. Um, my point with that is it's like he tries to explain like the way they shift guys into position for with the way the analytics say things, and then when things don't go right, he tries to explain it with some very like detailed synopsis as to why we got to the position we are in, and this is what we were trying to do, and this is why he was there, and all that kind of stuff. It's like, dude, you don't even need to do that. You can
yeah.
just be like, well, the scouting report said this, and our game plan was, you know, we were following the game plan, and it just didn't work out. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And it's like, and people will understand because we obviously, as sports fans, understand that, oh, your game plan is that you shift for people because that's what the analytics tell you to do. So I understand that. I
Yeah,
don't need anything more. I don't need a bigger, because you make yourself sound that much more stupid when you're going around in circles talking about the same thing and you're contradicting yourself in your same statement, you know?
yeah,
It's just so it just makes him it's just such a bad look.
yeah,
And I don't understand how there's not like a like the Giants are this multi-million dollar franchise and whatnot. It's like like news anchors have people that coach them and tell them how to speak on a daily basis. Like hire somebody for this guy. Teach him how to talk to the media,
yeah.
what he should be able to say and what he
M
doesn't need to say.
Buy a
You know what I mean?
10-minute
Because
session with Bill Belichick.
yeah, it's just like I mean, but it's like he's also like in his mid-40s. He's played baseball his entire life, and I'm sure he's grown up managed by some of these old timers. It's like, let's take a page out of their book, dude. This isn't your first exposure into baseball. Like you were also a manager for the Phillies for a couple years. You were, you know, you played in this league for so long. It's like you should understand this. Like you're like I feel like the Giants and specifically this Kapler regime is trying to be so innovative that they're trying to like create like something new that doesn't already exist in baseball, and it's gonna blow up in their face, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, this is a different style of baseball that I am having a hard time getting on board with. Um, maybe in time, but I don't know. It's I'm not having fun watching the games.
Well, I mean, like Evan Longoria, I feel like he lines up on the second base side more often than he does at third base, and he's still in the game as a third baseman.
Yeah,
And that's just because of the shifts.
yeah,
It's like, well, then you don't necessarily need Evan Longoria. You should have just put 2 second basemen into the lineup and throw one of them at third every once in a while,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. Very much.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous,
No,
man.
that's a good one, man. He's Kepler's an interesting character, but we'll see. We'll see what time
Yeah,
brings.
yeah.
So I got a question for you.
Let's do it.
We don't chat about politics much for good reason. It's a very sensitive subject. But I want to chat politics a little bit, just because I was watching YouTube yesterday afternoon, and I got this ad that popped up, paid for by Trump, the anti-Biden ad, and I watched it, and I couldn't help. I was just in shock at the end of it. Like, just thinking about it now is making me laugh, dude. So it's attacking Joe Biden on his cognitive, possible issues or whatever, and it's like showing a before quick clip. But as it goes through this little commercial, it gets like really dark and like creepy, and eerie music pops on, and then it just like I can't explain it, but it felt like I was watching a trailer for a horror movie.
Yeah.
And like the end was like the whole like music, like just the creepy eerie music, and like this blood red freaking Biden, I don't even know, it's like calling it Bidenism or something weird like that, but it
Oh
just
my
like got me
god.
thinking, like, I remember back in the day when we were kids, and this has started to happen. This isn't just now. This has happened for a while now. I just remember back in the days when we were kids, like the presidential ads and governor ads and stuff. Maybe I'm tripping, but didn't they used to be about what these people were gonna bring to the table?
Yeah,
And
now every ad is more or less you're trying to put down your competition rather than tell people what you're gonna do,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, it's just wild, dude. But like, the Joe Biden one that Trump put out, and then there's been a couple of them. One, I'll send it to you after we're done. I just was like, I sent it to my wife. I was like, my wife is like deep in this stuff. Like, I don't talk to her about politics. It drives me nuts. But she's just like, I can't watch this. This is insane. And it really is. Like, it's just all about like they put all these money in these ads trying to show like how terrible this person is. Nothing about how good you are, what you bring to the table. Like, it's really like it's insane, dude. Like and I don't know, man. It just was like I wanted to know if you've seen any of those or like what your thought
Oh, yeah.
was.
I've totally seen those, and it's like I personally wish that like you said, I wish that they would just tell us more about what their agendas are and why we should vote for them, rather than
Yeah.
tell us why we shouldn't vote for the other person, you
Yeah.
know?
And I mean, I'll be honest, like for me personally, without going deep, I don't feel I feel like, last election, I didn't vote for Trump or Clinton. I felt like they were both terrible options. I voted for an independent because they were the person that best fit my views. I'm the same way this year. I don't feel like I feel like they're both not good options. So it's
Yeah, I
like
mean,
it's just
I feel
challenging.
like they're
But
both not good. I feel like one's way worse than the other, though, you
yeah, I
know?
I can I can get on board with that. But it's just like, but just the fact that they're just more so Trump just goes on straight attack mode. It's like, why don't you spend some of that money convincing us why you are the good option instead of why Joe
Oh, for
Biden
sure.
looks like he's gonna put on a hockey mask and go murder people in Camp Nowhere.
But he goes on attack mode for everything. Did you
Yeah,
see this today? So he puts out on Twitter, he's telling people not to buy Goodyear tires now. and specifically because Goodyear announced a ban on the MAGA hats. So
Oh,
he's like, "You can get better tires for less, like, this is the work of the radical left Democrats," and all this kinda crap, right? Going against Goodyear tires. And now Twitter is blowing up on this because so many people are pointing out that, like, the Cadillac limo that's, like, bulletproof that drives him around
yeah.
is on special puncture-proof Goodyear tires, you know? And so it's like, well, you should
Oh,
think before you speak there, buddy,
yeah, because
like,
now you're gonna get some flat tires when you get shot at because they ain't
yeah.
gonna be good, you know.
Yeah, because if you're
Ah,
gonna demand that you gotta get new tires on your thing, well, I don't think any other company's been making puncture-proof ones,
God,
specifically for
dude.
the president's vehicle, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like,
So this is gonna be one of the craziest things I'll ever say about all this, but I actually respect Trump in the fact that he says what's on his mind. The downside of it is it's usually something really dumb or something you really shouldn't be saying as president. But you got to give credit where credit's due, and the guy speaks his mind, which is something it's rare to see these days.
well, that's the only consistency in his presidency is that we will know exactly what he's thinking at all times,
Yeah,
and he's not gonna sugarcoat it, and he's not gonna, like, it's obvious that, like, he's not gonna say what anyone else wants him to say because otherwise, if that were true, somebody else would run his Twitter and none of this would happen,
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like the fact that, like, he regurgitates or throws up from the mouth every day on Twitter, it's just like,
yeah,
dude, you're our president. Like, come on. Like, you're
yeah,
trying to speak to your, like I mentioned this before, you're trying to speak to your country through Twitter,
yeah, yeah. No,
like
it's a horrible
every
idea.
day, and and most of it are insensitive jabs like Barstool Sports would make,
Yeah.
and it's just like, you're the president,
Oh yeah.
dude.
Oh, dude, he
Like,
would be fantastic on Barstool.
yeah,
I like that's where he should retire to. Um, No, I
it's
agree, and it's
ridiculous.
like, and even just like the shit he says about other countries. Like, I wish I knew enough to really know like how far backwards he's put us with relations with other countries. Like
Oh
China's
yeah.
always been a rough one. We've been like, we've kept the peace, and now it's like this little like these little non-lethal wars that we're in with China. Like, I wonder how many years back that's really put us with stuff.
I think it's definitely gonna take some work, but I also think that, like, if there's a new face in there and it's a blue face, I
Yeah.
think that it'll be a little bit easier to sort of reconcile some of the bad blood that's been created,
Mhm.
only because I think there's been a lot of good that's been happening before him, obviously, and then just, like, the renegade that he's been since he's been in there, it's like, yeah, it's quickly burned some bridges, but I think a lot of these, I mean, frankly, the rest of the world is much smarter than he is.
Yeah.
And I think that most people will just understand that, okay, he's gone.
Yeah, I
Like,
would hope so. I would hope
now
that
what's up?
whoever's in there
You know,
next, just makes a
now
phone
we can have a
call.
healthier dialogue and
Yeah.
see what happens from there.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I would hope that these other countries would be smart enough to that whoever gets in there, they just have to make a phone call and be like, look, here's the situation. That dude
Right.
was crazy. He ain't here anymore. What do I need to do to
Yeah,
make
yeah.
get us back to where we were at? And those other countries probably just be like, well, let us trade whatever the fuck we want to trade again, or
But I mean,
something.
it's
But
I mean, maybe more people can relate to this. Like, when you get a new job, it's like, nobody should really, like, hold you accountable for what the guy that got fired before you
yeah.
and you're taking his position. It's like, it's not, you
No,
didn't do
that
that,
that is
you know?
100% true, but I think it is slightly different with this
I mean,
role.
that
But
doesn't mean that you're not gonna have cleanup work to do and you're gonna
yeah,
have to, like, untangle the web that was woven before you, but at the same time, it's like you kinda get a clean slate while you're doing that stuff. It's
yeah,
just so long as you don't make it worse, you know?
yeah.
So,
No, I
that's the
agree.
way I feel about it.
Yeah, just wild, dude. This last 4 years has been insane. I still remember like yesterday, dude, when Trump was when he won. I just felt like it was a dream. Not even because like I was anti-Trump at the time, because like I'm really not political. Like I don't associate. I know majority of my mindset leans towards Democrat, but I do agree with some Republican things too. I just don't really associate with like one side or the other. I don't feel like it needs to or should be that way. Um, I kind of just have my opinions on things and stick with them. But I just thought like there was no way in hell this dude was gonna win because he was like a freaking billionaire, had no political background, was literally the host of a freaking
Yeah,
MTV show
yeah.
or something out. It's just so that was where like when he won, I just remember being like, wait, is this real life right now?
Well, it's interesting because it's like I was kind of in the same camp too. Like when he was running, um, I never really was behind him, but at the same time, it's like I thought that the race at that time was entertaining because it's like in my mind, I'm like, okay, he's not gonna win, but like this is gonna be an entertaining like campaign, and
Exactly.
like we're gonna see how this goes, and then life will go on when he doesn't win, and you know what, and then he won, and I'm just like, how the fuck
Yeah.
does this happen? Because he doesn't take the typical route to presidency like most do through other avenues of politics. And I mean, most people who rise up and become presidents, like you didn't really hear their name before they were running for president.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody
Exactly.
knew who Donald Trump was become a celebrity factor. His show, The Apprentice, just by being one of the richest men in the country, in the world, or whatever the case may be, and the businessman that he is. Um, you know, And so you just take the celebrity factor and you just think, okay, like he's not gonna win. And plus just like the way that he pops off from the mouth and puts things out there in social media, it's like you'd think cancel culture would take care of him, you
Yeah.
know? And especially now, it's like he still does all the same things and says all the same things
Hmm.
and that are teetering on the brink of like, just blasphemy. But it's just like but cancel culture doesn't cancel him, or for whatever reason, they can't because he's the president,
Yeah.
It's like they can't impeach him because he's the president. It's like he's always got some team probably in there, like, one step ahead of him,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's
it's
wild, but
frustrating, it's
the
frustrating.
yeah. But the other thing that makes it kind of crazy is like the fact that he did become president and where he came from. Like we got Kanye West running for president, and this dude is completely off his rocker right now.
You know it's
Like,
gonna well for
but
him.
like the reality is like because Trump was elected. I mean, here we have
Yeah,
Kanye, who's
it's
like
not out of the realm
literally,
of possibilities
yeah, like
nowadays, you know?
he's on the brink of like major mental breakdown. He still could has a very legitimate
Yeah.
chance of becoming president.
I mean, we had Arnold Schwarzenegger as our governor, and, like, I think he would make a far better president than either of those gentlemen,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like I wouldn't wanna see him in office either,
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
like
don't think he can either because he wasn't born here, right? Is that still a rule? I think that was a rule. I remember like if you're
I think
not
yeah, I think
born,
it's still a rule for presidency, like, you have
yeah,
to
I
be,
think it to
like
be president, one of the stipulations is if you have to be born in the United States, and I don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger was.
no, definitely not, he's
But I
born
do
in
just that
Austria.
just popped into my head. But no, I agree with you. Yeah, dude, it just I don't know.
But what the presidency from what Trump did do is it definitely unlocked the doors for more potential candidates in
Yeah.
the future, and what I mean by that, it's like you typically would see people either rise through politics through they studied political science in college, and then they worked in this person's campaign office, and then they became they working for the assembly or the senate, or whatever different ranks, until they finally climb high enough to make a name for themselves, to put on somebody's radar, to be a vice president, let alone a
Yeah.
president. And then it's like, and those are people who make careers out of that.
Hmm.
And then versus just to go from a business person that just be like, "Man, I think I'm gonna run for president this year." You
Yeah.
know?
And
Like,
that's what it really was like, dude.
okay. But I also kinda think, like, in the age that we're living in now with people, like, you hear the term so often, influencers, right?
Yeah.
And how celebrities use their platforms to influence others and to they have a following per se. It's like you could see certain high profile celebs who, if they really wanted to, I mean, Kanye West, we're not going to talk about that because he's just not stable.
Yeah.
But like if you talked about like other potential celebrities who really take an interest in the politics and what's going on, it's like and they have already made a name for themselves, whether it's movies, TV,
Hmm.
whatever the hell it may be. People know them.
Yeah.
And if they're saying the right things, they'll
Like
get elected,
so
you know?
so like in reality, like to just to prove your point, what if tomorrow Michael Jordan announced him running for president and went through the
Right.
entire thing saying all the right things,
Exactly. Exactly.
he would have a realistic chance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's awesome, but also it's still crazy
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying like like you have to have political background to be president. I don't necessarily believe that. I feel like the concept of Trump had potential where, not having the political background but having the business background was good. The only thing about it is it was Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Like anyone else that had big business background and had like maybe a few different brain cells, I can understand where having someone, a successful major business person running a country is not a bad idea. But at the same time, like politics is so crazy. Like you have to have some experience. And I think that's what shows like his inexperience is what really shines through the most.
Yeah.
Because
But see, I think
I know
that,
he's done some business moves that like not every single thing he's done has been a dumpster fire. He's made some financial
no.
moves that have actually uh I don't want to say benefit the country, but haven't been dumpster fires. We'll leave it at that. So it does still spark the thought in my mind of like, what if we had that big business person that wasn't a narcissist?
Well, my problem with Trump is like is he's been big business, but he's been big business for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Like he's built his own personal brand. He's got Trump Tower hotels. He's got his own
Yeah.
like
It's me, 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 me.
he owns it. Exactly. He owns this. I own this. I have this golf course. I have these hotels. It's like whereas where I feel like big business could succeed here is you need somebody who's been a CEO of a company
Yeah.
for and had a lot of success, but they don't own that company.
Yeah.
They were brought in because they're a great CEO,
Yeah.
and it's the
COO.
thing they've done or that they've moved on. They've been CEO maybe for 2 or 3 different companies. You get
Yeah.
somebody that's well respected like that, like a Bezos or something like that, you know what I mean? But
Yep.
because those are people who understand how to work for others.
Yeah.
And I'm working for the board, like, they brought me in here to do something,
Yeah.
and I need to stick to it, otherwise I'm gonna be gone because I don't own this thing. I can't just do whatever I want and tell people to get lost because I own this thing,
Yeah.
you know? And so I feel like he's always had that mentality, and he's trying to act the same way here with the country, like, "We're gonna do it my way, or you guys are all just doing it wrong,"
Yeah.
you know? And it's like, you can't do that with people and expect people to get behind you and support you.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously some do, but I mean, I don't see it that way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I just that commercial today just made me realize like how fucking crazy this all is right now.
Well, because here's an example, right? It's like if tomorrow Barack Obama started as the new CEO for Apple,
Hmm.
I think Apple would do fine. But if Donald Trump did it,
Yeah.
it'd be a little different.
Yeah.
Tell you that.
Yeah. That is true.
You know? So politics is nasty, dude, and it
Yeah, it's
brings
so
it
hard to
brings
talk about too. It really
yeah.
is so hard. And for me, every time when I start talking to someone about it, my mind always goes back to the whole idea of like, why do we even have like these two major parties? I don't understand it. I don't think I
Right,
ever will
exactly. We're
understand
supposed to
it.
be the United States, and every time we come to an election, we seem more divided than ever,
Yeah. And
you
it
know?
well and but just how it works too and how like how much one side can persuade and things. It's like that then it's not really.
It's like, why do we need 2 sides?
Yeah,
Like, we should
I don't get the two side thing at all. Like there's obviously, especially nowadays and age, there's obviously more mindsets than two.
Right.
So like I feel like I don't know. And I'm very I'm like I've said before, I'm very inexperienced when it comes to politics. It's just so ridiculous to me. But so I'm probably very ignorant when saying things like this, and I'll accept that. But I just feel like the whole thing needs to be chalked and restarted in some way where and it's also a very outdated system too. I mean we've touched on that with the Constitution and stuff where this stuff was written in like our foundation was written on things in
Right.
a time where
Things have changed and come a
they had
long
to
way.
sprinkle freaking gunpowder into a barrel
Yeah,
before they put a and
exactly.
manually put a a bullet. The fucking Constitution was literally signed with the whole goddamn. Let me put the freaking feather in a tub of ink. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
now we have computers on our watch on our wrists. Like it just
Now we do DocuSign, you
yeah
know?
yeah. Like it's just I feel like it's just the foundation. There's still some very important parts of it, but it's just it was meant for a time that is very different than now, and we keep falling back on it. And
Well,
that's
and
I
if there's
think what
anything we've learned from, like, Black Lives Matter, it's like change is okay, and it's good, and
yeah
it's necessary, you
yeah.
know?
My wife
So
always said it to me like a while ago. And I've used it on here, well, but it makes a good point. It's like the whole gun thing. Like you know, your right to bear arms, which I agree with 100%. I've never shot a gun in my life. I'm not anti-guns. I mean, I sit here, I play Call of Duty every night. Like I'm all for guns for the right causes and stuff. Like that Constitution, that amendment was written in a time where, like I just said, it took you 5-10 minutes to get one bullet ready to fire. Now we have
right.
weapons that can shoot literally hundreds of rounds in a minute.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
it's you know it's not that
Well,
the
and at a time where it was right to bear arms was like, okay, in 1776, when you're living in this country, it's like you don't have neighbors that close,
yeah
and it's almost to the point where it was intended to
protect
you're
yourself,
gonna
your property.
self-govern your property,
Yeah.
and it's for protection, and there wasn't law enforcement to the extent that there is
Yeah.
today, and so society has evolved to this where it's like, "Oh, I don't need a gun because when things go wrong, I call the other people who have them."
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
So,
And it's like, and I'm not gonna do anything about it anyway, because even if I have a gun and do something about it, it's not like I'm out of hot water, you
yeah.
know? It's like I'm still gonna have to answer some questions, you know?
Yeah, now, dude, like you hear these crazy stories where people are breaking into people's houses and they're getting shot, and then the homeowner is the one that's getting in trouble for shooting them
Yeah.
because, you know, they were running away. Or there's one story I read, this is probably a year ago, where a robber broke into a guy's house and was running down the hallway at the guy and stopped just at the right time when the homeowner pulled the trigger. So when he got hit, he fell backwards. So it didn't look like he was running at him, because like and like it was all written out where it's like, well, the body was on his back, which meant that he wasn't posing a threat because he wasn't charging. If he was on his front, it would have shown the momentum of the body in that. But it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm sorry, but like, as someone
Yeah.
that's not experienced with people breaking into my house and not experienced with guns, if I walk into my hallway right now and I have a gun on me and there's a dude I don't know standing in my hallway, regardless if he's running at me or away from me, I'm shooting the motherfucker. Like, I'm sorry, but you're in my house when you're not supposed to be.
Well, especially,
I don't know
like,
what your plan is. I don't know what
that
you
would be
have
your
on you, where
fearful
you're going.
instinct,
Yeah.
you know?
And like, even if they're running away from me, they get upstairs to one of my kids, they can do a lot of harm in the 3 seconds
Yeah.
it gets me to catch them, even without a weapon. So
Yeah, I mean, when fight or flight kicks in, it's like, I mean, there's not a lot of rationale that comes
yeah,
into play, and
yeah,
it's like you're gonna be held accountable for you being rational in that particular split second.
yeah. And I think it's so unfair. But long story short, that the article I read, the homeowner got charged with like some type of like the like bare minimum manslaughter, where he didn't serve jail time, but he was like he was on probation or whatever for a long time stuff. But it's like, you're telling me this dude broke into this guy's house and the homeowner's the one
Yeah,
that got charged with something like that? That's just insane, dude. It's and
and what if he
there's
didn't shoot him? Maybe the homeowner would've died,
yeah, and
you
that's what I'm like. I feel like the second you are on someone's property in their house, it's one thing to be the drunk guy stumbling down the street and steps onto someone's lawn to take a leak, compared to the guy that's breaking through the back window, you
with
know?
the ski mask, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like there's that line that you cross that, you know, you're whatever happens to you, it's on you, man. Like,
Yeah,
and but the laws are so convoluted and weird that it's not always like that way. You can
and
literally
they're
get
different in every state
yeah,
too.
you can literally get charged murder by defending your home, which is
Yeah,
just wild.
crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Bro,
Politics, not a fun conversation ever.
it jogged that conversation about the shooting. It's just, I gotta ask you this question. So I stumbled across this another new show on Netflix.
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of a remake of an old show from the '90s. Have you Unsolved Mysteries?
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it. I've heard that it's pretty good.
So I used to watch the show as a kid, like the old ones, and
Oh yeah,
like just the music and the guy who used to like
yeah, that voice, man.
yeah, the guy that used to like host the show, like, which is so creepy and like made the show extra creepy.
Hmm.
But I gotta
Which
say,
was amazing because I remember that show pretty well, and majority of the cases, they were very anticlimactic back in the day. Like they had
yeah,
those few that you're just like, whoa, what the hell? Like
I
who
know.
did this? But most of them you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, next,
But
yeah.
the build up and everything made them so good.
But now it's like I mean, the way they do it, I mean, they have perfected docuseries nowadays,
Yeah.
and I swear to God, like, the way they I mean, basically, they dedicate an episode to each case,
Hmm.
and, I mean, it's just fascinating, it's just gripping, and it's just like, to hear these cases just laid out in front of you, and you're just like you're as perplexed as everyone else because it's like you just got all the information, and it's just like you wanna know how this thing happened, but it's still a mystery.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just, like, left at this huge cliffhanger, and these cases, we're talking about people disappeared,
Yeah. Just
bodies
gone.
showed up and, like, this and that, like, people die, and it's like, "How?
Yeah.
How did this happen?" Like, the first episode was this guy who's, like, 32 and, like, turns out that somehow he must have fallen from the top of, like, this famous hotel in Baltimore. I think it's, like, the Belvedere Hotel or something,
Okay.
and it's just, like, they're trying to put all the pieces together and, like, where he fell and, like, this injuries he sustained and yada, 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 and, like, why he was there and all this kinda stuff. Like, it's not a suicide, even though the police wanna think it's a suicide. It's not a suicide, like, here's all the other information, and so it's just like, you get so wrapped into this kinda thing, and it's like, you just want so many answers. I hope to God that this show finally brings to light some of these answers to where certain people start actually coming forward, you know?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Because one of the things that really, like, made me pissed off, the episode I watched last night, um it was like this place in Kansas, this gentleman, Alonzo Brooks was his name, and these are real people and things that happen in real life. So he was like 22 and they went to some party, like they were from like Topeka, Kansas, and they went to like a more rural part where it was like pretty much all white, and he was a black kid and he was there with like some white friends.
Hmm.
And long story short, some of the friends he was there with left before him in different ways, and turns out he never showed up home after the night, and, his body shows up in a creek, like, month later, um, and everyone just thinks that it's like, the racial prejudice of these white people at this party, like, basically kicked his ass and killed him, you
Yeah.
know? And but there's no proof to that. There's no like, people won't cooperate down there, even the law enforcement down there is, like, not helping and this and that because it's just that type of community, you know?
Hmm.
And it just makes you so angry, and it's just like and you just wanna know so badly what happened to these people because all the people that are involved in this, all the families that are involved in these things, all they want is closure,
Yeah.
you know? They just want answers. It's so, like, disheartening, you know?
Yeah, that is the worst, dude. I've had that feeling like firsthand on a much smaller scale with like letting a cat out and then not showing up for 3 weeks. But it's like
Yeah.
just like I would have been fine if he died. Totally would have been fine with it. Just needing the closure of like, is he out in the gutter just like starving to death somewhere, or did he get hit by a car and he's done and that's it? Like just the not knowing what happened, it literally like stressed me out for weeks. And this is about a stupid cat. Like, sorry, PETA. Like, cats aren't stupid, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean. Like, like it's just like so. I could never imagine like that being my kid or something. Like, I would dedicate my life to finding out what the fuck happened.
oh, I
Like,
know.
it's just crazy, dude. Yeah. Speaking of, let's stick on the Netflix thing for a second because you
Okay,
now jogged my mind on something.
I love it. Let's
So
do it.
I watched another Netflix original movie the other day called Project Power.
Okay.
And great cast. It's got Um, Jamie Foxx is one of the main characters. It's got the what's his name?
Project Power, you
Yeah,
say?
don't even look it up, dude. Um, I'm getting there. What's his name? Jordan Levitt, whatever. He's a good actor. He's been in a
Uh,
bunch of stuff.
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
There's
Joseph
some other.
Gordon-Levitt?
There's some what?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt
Yeah, him. I
from
love him,
30
dude.
Rock,
He's great.
3rd Rock from the Sun?
Yep, I love
Yeah,
him. He's great. And even Jamie Foxx is a really good actor.
yeah.
Then there's some other
He's gonna play Mike
familiar.
Tyson, dude.
Yeah, I know,
Jamie Foxx
dude.
is gonna play Mike Ty I can't
Yeah,
wait for that.
you
Anyway,
can
go
tell
ahead.
that he was starting his training in this movie because he's pretty yoked in this movie.
Yeah.
Um, but and there's some other familiar faces, and basically, like, long story short, it's the movie is based on uh a time in where they're a time in the States where they're popping pills, but they're pills that when you take them, they give you like superpower for 5 minutes. And everyone has their own unique superpower, right? And I was like, kind of like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea. You know, I'll check it out. I watched it. Dude, it's like the most generic, freaking anticlimactic movie. Like I knew exactly what was gonna happen throughout the entire thing. I knew how it was gonna end. I knew what was gonna happen next. You know, the typical, oh, I'm fighting to find who creates this drug because they have my daughter, and you know, I'm not the bad guy. This is why I'm doing this, and you know, just and then the end is, oh, they found. I'm gonna ruin. Spoiler alert: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They find the fucking daughter, and it's a happy ending. It's like the most generic fucking thing, and it's like, why is every single Netflix movie like this? Every single Netflix movie is like anticlimactic or generic, or it has like this ending that you're just like,
Well,
we're just ending. Okay.
sometimes I feel like if movies are pitched with a certain cast, that they'll make it. And it doesn't necessarily and they think that they'll get a draw just by the names in the cast and not necessarily what the plot of the movie is about.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to sell the names and they're gonna get, the views and the revenue that way
Yeah.
versus, like, trying to actually put out a good product.
Yeah. But it's like, and I agree because it's like that. I can't think of the movie. There was another movie that was like a heist movie, kind of like a heist movie. It was so generic, I forgot it already. But it had a big cast. It had the dude from Sons of Anarchy. It had a couple big name actors.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can't think of what it was called, but it was another.
Den
It's
of
like
Thieves? You're talking
what?
about Den of Thieves?
No, that wasn't a Netflix one. But that Den of Thieves was actually a really good movie. But they just
Yeah, that was
didn't. They did
decent.
zero character building. So you just were you
Right,
were never you had no attachment to any of the characters.
right.
But this movie I'm talking about is very similar to that, where like they didn't do character building, but then the way it ended, it just kind of ended, and you're just like, oh, okay. The only one that I can think about that I really liked was Extraction. But even Extraction, it was not like it was just kind of they did it good. And I think it helps that I mean I might be fanboying over my Marvel stuff, but I think Chris Hemsworth is an actual really good actor. But
Yeah,
even that,
that
like
was
you,
just all about being, like, macho man
yeah.
and, like,
But
too much of like,
I
just so much, like, far-fetched action, you know?
Yeah, and I think I liked Extraction because it really did. It honestly, you know what it reminded me of? Do you remember the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Commando?
Uh, vaguely,
So
yeah.
try to, if you
Been a
find
while.
time, try to find that movie and watch it. It's gonna be pretty cheesy now, but for the time, it was like it was awesome. It was a good old fashioned, retired military guy. Something comes up, they kidnap his daughter, and he goes and just destroys the world. Like the freaking definition of just pure action. Like a generic ass storyline, but great action. I felt like this was really, in many ways, a remake of that movie, like a updated. Because, dude, even this story is shit if you think about it. Like
Yeah,
it's two drug dealers, like massive drug dealers. One steals the child of another. Okay, not to be super sinister, but like who fucking cares? It's two fucking drug dealers, like the shittiest people on this planet, and like they're hiring this military guy to come in and save the kid and stuff. Like the foundation, the story foundation is weak, but the delivery, the execution, the
it had a high
cameras, the
entertainment value.
yeah, and the way that it was filmed was amazing. The action,
Yeah,
the camera action was off the charts. And I hope
no,
to see
for
that
sure.
guy, that director, do bigger movies because the way the action was in that movie was probably one of the best I've seen in years. But the story is weak. It's like every Netflix movie, the story's weak, dude, and it's starting to piss me off because I really like they hype them up, and I'm in that loop now where it's like, ooh, this looks good. Maybe this is the one. Project Power. I started seeing the previews. I'm like, ooh, okay, I like this. I like the idea. I like the actors. This might be the one. And then I literally like, I have this problem where when I start a movie, I kind of have to plan for it because I'm the type like I need to watch it through. I hate having to stop a movie and then pick it up the next day, right? Well,
Yeah,
so I
like
usually when I watch movies, like my time to watch them is at night, and it's like for me, I start at 10. It's usually over by midnight. I like to be my goal every night is to be in bed falling asleep by 1, right? So I started this one a little late, and I was like I was probably gonna push like 1:45 when it ended. At like 1:15, I was and most of the time if it's good, I'm like, you know what, screw it. I'll tough it out. I'll have a crappy day. Maybe I can sneak in a power nap or something. This movie was so boring. It got to the point where it's like there's like the last half hour. You're like at the climax. It's the next step's gonna be, and I knew exactly what was gonna happen. I knew how it was gonna happen. So I literally was like, I can wait till tomorrow for this. So I turn it off. I go to sleep. The next morning comes up, and this is what was in my head. I was like, this is what's gonna happen. And I'm totally ruining the movie for anyone that's seen it. So again, spoiler alert, but I have to explain this, right? It's the only way. So in my head, as I turn this movie off, I go, this is what's going to happen. Jamie Foxx is going to have to take his pill finally. He's going to have this epic power that just obliterates everyone, saves the girl, happy ending. I'm not kidding you to the fucking T what happened. He
yeah,
takes the pill, he walks outside. It's like they're on a ship. There's, 70 freaking bad guys, and one of them's holding the girl. He walks out, he talks some shit back and forth, and then he shows the pill, swallows it, and then he turns into this giant fucking bomb. It just blows everyone up. But somehow the girl magically is the only one that fucking lives. And then
yeah.
they run off into the sunset. And you're
Well,
just
you
like,
didn't know that you could
nailed it.
tell you could tell the bomb which people to burn.
Yeah,
Right.
to be honest, actually, I think that's what it was because there was one section where he did like turn and like
Yeah.
lasered one guy, but the way it started, it looked like he was just like basically an atomic bomb. And it's just like I seriously like I watched it because I also have an issue where like I have to finish things. I have like three.
Surprised Jamie Foxx read that script and decided to do that movie. You
Yeah,
know?
and that's the other thing because it's like Jamie Foxx is a phenomenal actor. Like he's proven that over the years,
Yeah.
especially like in his range where he's super funny, great at comedies, but also plays the serious role, which this was more serious role, really good. And it's nothing.
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
taking away from like his acting skills or um, Gordon Levitt's. Like they did great. They did their parts as best as they could. It's just the whole plot was shit, dude. It was just completely generic and the most basic thing, and it was so predictable. I mean,
Yeah.
watch it. It is like the action's cool, and I always love seeing those guys. I love seeing Jamie Foxx and things because you don't see him and stuff as much as you used to. Um,
Well, I mean, he won an Academy Award for Ray.
yeah,
You know?
I mean, and like, but his range, like even in Django,
Yeah,
like
Django was legit.
fantastic movies, dude. And like, talk about a way to bring awareness about racism. Holy shit, dude! Like he nailed it.
But I feel like
But
Django was also like an easy character for him to play.
yeah, well, I think
Whereas
yeah.
like Ray was obviously like a little bit more
Oh,
involved
dude,
in it.
yeah. But he
But
mastered it. I still to this day, out of all those movies lately, like over the past decade, Ray, I mean, it gives
yeah.
you the chills. You feel like you're literally watching him.
But I honestly feel like Tyson can be right up there.
I know. I'm eager to see
Like,
that.
because, like, it's funny that they cast him for that because he's the only one that can do, like, the accent
Yeah.
that Tyson does, like,
Yeah.
on point, and
Oh
even
yeah.
Tyson knows it, and
Yeah.
Tyson, like, doesn't, like, get mad like, if anybody else did that thing, that voice, like, Mike Tyson would knock you out.
Hmm.
But Jamie Foxx has done that, like, next to Mike Tyson on a number of occasions,
Yeah.
and, like, Mike Tyson just respects it, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy,
No,
so
he's nailed that on the joking level so well that I feel like in this movie, him doing it seriously, it's gonna be real good.
yeah,
Because he's always
yeah.
added it. It's always been a comical thing, not like a serious um imitation. So
The only challenge I think for the Tyson part is for the most part, it's gonna be a biopic,
mhm.
but, like, Jamie Foxx and Mike Tyson are pretty similar in age right now.
No, Tyson's older. I think Tyson's got like 10, 15 years on him.
Jamie Foxx is in his mid-50s, bro.
I know, but I think
A lot
Tyson's
of
up
people
there.
don't understand that.
Yeah, but I think it also has a lot to do with Tyson looks old, bro. And I think it's because of his lifestyle and everything. So here's a question: Do you think Tyson's coming back just to promote the movie?
Well, I
The
don't think
movie's
it
a little
hurts.
ways away.
I don't think it hurts. Yeah.
The fact that
So,
Tyson's coming back is insane. But have you watched any of the videos of him like training?
yeah, yeah.
Dude,
No, he's
just
legit.
as terrifying as he was when he was in his 20s.
Yeah.
Like the guy
So,
is just terrifying.
Mike Tyson is 54 and Jamie Foxx is 52.
Oh, okay. I was way
FYI.
wrong.
So
Wow.
they're 2 years apart, bro.
Oh, that's
And it's
insane.
like,
I could have
so
sworn they were like a decade apart.
the challenge is, and I think I mean, obviously Hollywood could do it, but it's like you're gonna have to act like you're Mike Tyson in his 20s or his teens. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so it's like I don't know if Jamie Foxx is playing how many roles in this, or is it like you only playing him in his 30s,
Yeah.
or
I
who
don't know. I
knows?
think he can pull it off though. He's a really good actor.
They always will, and usually
Yeah.
for the screen too, you as a viewer have that understanding of
Yeah.
maybe a little older here, but we're doing this for cinematic benefit,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
Um
kinda like or I wonder if they'll do the technology like they did with,
they've
The
done it.
Irishman.
Yeah. They've done it in The Irishman, they've done it in a bunch of Marvel
Yeah.
movies, Star Wars movies. Yeah.
Well, George Lucas in Star Wars was, like, the first one that sort of started all
Yeah.
that technology, that CGI sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
but
gotten
yeah,
creepy good
it'll be
though lately. Last few
yeah.
years it's gotten real scary, especially when they did it with Princess Leia. Oh man, it just you can still tell something's a little off, but it's right there, man.
Oh,
The Irishman was pretty good too.
it was crazy, like, you don't notice in The Irishman, you don't notice it as much when you're watching the movie, but, like, after the movie, like, they did this, like, little 30-minute, round table with the 4 of them where they're just, like, having a cocktail talking about how they filmed the movie and stuff,
Yeah,
and that's when you could really see it, and then they start cutting to, like, the different, like, scenes, like, behind the scenes and stuff like that, and how they did it, and, like, what he really looked like in real life while they were filming that versus, like, what he looked like in the film,
yeah,
like, what they showed in the theatrical version, like, you're like, you don't really put it together until you see it that way,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
It's so insane,
yeah.
so
So I don't know. I just back to my rant. Netflix and their movies are pissing me off.
but their comedy specials are legit,
Oh, top notch, top notch.
better than, like, Comedy Central Presents, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
better than that. I think that they are today's HBO specials.
Yeah, yeah. If you get a Netflix special, it's on the
You've
same level as
yeah,
if you got an
if you
HBO
get
one.
a Netflix special today, you've made it in comedy.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
What's one Netflix special out right now that you would recommend?
Burt Kren, how do you pronounce his last name?
Bert
Kershaw?
Kreischer?
Yeah,
Kreischer.
Kreischer. That dude's
Yeah,
funny.
he's
I've
funny.
held off on him because I watched like the quick little previews and I thought it was kind of weird. Like this is just like this crazy white dude without a shirt on. Um,
Yeah.
but after you watch it, the dude is hilarious, man. And
Well,
I'm
especially for us, like, when you have kids, like, he
yeah,
talks a lot about his wife and kids and his
yeah.
family, it's like, it's
Well, and
relatable, you
yeah,
know?
so if we're talking just specials, his specials are fantastic. But if you go beyond his specials and you watch some like podcasts with him and his wife, dude,
Yeah,
his
they're
wife is
funny.
fucking hilarious. His wife
Yeah.
has been on remember good old Dr. Drew?
Yeah,
Dr. Drew has a podcast that
yeah.
him and Bert have Bert's been on it a few times. So Bert has some pretty big like anxiety issues and things like that.
Mhm.
And Dr. Drew's always talking about it. And then he had his wife on one day, and I swear to God, dude. I mean, I guess it's kind of understandable. Like, you have to have a sense of humor to be married to someone like that. But she is
Yeah, yeah,
funny,
no,
dude, and the
for sure.
shit she talks about him is just hysterical. But him, and then there's my other one is my mind is melting right now. Segura,
Tom Segura.
Tom Segura. He's really fun. I like Tom Segura because he's that like laid back comedian, super chill, but just comes with those lines that just get you cracking up.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So those two guys for sure. Outside of, I mean, I've the given is Dave Chappelle. Any of Dave Chappelle's is a
Yeah.
must, but I'm trying to
I mean,
go away from him because I feel like we talk about him a lot.
if there's a Dave Chappelle special out there that you haven't seen, you're
Shame
doing
on you.
yourself a disservice. I
Yeah.
mean, usually those
Yeah.
are like you need to consume those within the first few days that they're
Yeah.
released.
Did you
Um,
watch Dave's free YouTube one last month? Did you watch that yet?
no, I haven't watched that yet.
Catch
So I
watch it.
didn't even take my own advice. But
Yeah, watch it. Well, it was kind of out of nowhere, so a lot of people aren't even familiar with it. It's only like 30 minutes, but I and it's not very comical. That's the thing, is it's very much educational. David is educational mind. He has a little bit of comedy, in it, but it's really just about Black history and some stories that they're just so compelling when they come from him.
oh yeah,
So it's only
yeah,
about a half hour, 45 minutes, but I highly recommend you and anyone else who hasn't watched it, watch it. It was he dropped it, I think, about a week or 2 weeks after George Floyd's death. So it's very much tied into that and him
hmm
talking about Black history. And then he has this little skit where he talks about some news anchor, I always forget his name, had mentioned where certain celebrities need to speak up, and he was not mentioned, but he was like sitting there like itching for the guy to mention him, because that's in Dave's mindset, which I think is I can understand it.
yeah,
Is we're in a time where that's actually what we don't need. We don't really need celebrity input. This is a time where it's the people's input is what matters,
right,
and
yeah,
that's what's happening. And
yeah,
that was his what his express how he expressed it. He basically was like, I was waiting for him to say my name, because Dave Chappelle's been talking about this stuff literally. If you go back through his comedy sketches and everything, he's been talking about oppression and Black lives and police brutality for, I'm not even kidding you, decades. So, and he even says it in this little thing. He's like, I've been talking about it. This isn't my time. So, it's just really cool, like, to understand that and see it. And I just think it was a cool little special. But
oh for sure, for sure.
yeah, but those two guys are my two, probably two of my top favorite comedians right now. They're two of the guys
Yeah,
that we kind of touched on last week. They weren't on my top 10 or even my
not yet. I mean, from a body of work
recommendations or whatever.
perspective, like
Yeah.
if you ask us in 15 years, they might be.
Oh
You know what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean?
They
Like,
have a lot left. They're still
yeah,
very new to
yeah,
the top tier comedy of their time.
absolutely.
So, but they're funny dudes. And they're friends. They're good friends too. I like the comedy clique right now with
Yeah,
them and Bill Burr.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
for sure,
couple
for
other
sure.
couple other guys. The Theo something or something Theo. But they got this little comedy clique that's just really funny. And when they do little things on the internet, like on YouTube and stuff together, they always get me cracking up.
Oh, they're great. They're great.
What about you?
Yeah, I've been obviously I like all those. I love the Burt Kreischer stuff, Tom
Yeah,
Segura, David Chappelle, obviously. He hasn't put out a new one recently, but I love his stand up. Is Donald Glover. Uh he's got a he's
yeah.
got a few
That's one
on
creative
Netflix.
dude right there, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who, obviously he goes by Childish Gambino when he raps, and
Yeah.
he's incredibly talented at
Hmm.
that. He's even won some Grammys and whatnot. But he got his start writing for 30 Rock
Yeah.
way back, and he got his start writing like that was his first job after he left NYU.
Hmm.
He studied film and all that stuff, and then he became a writer, and then he became, an actor on the show and on Community and all that stuff, and now he's been in a bunch of movies, Star Wars, all that kind of stuff. Um, it's incredible, dude. I mean, he's just an incredibly talented, creative dude,
Yeah.
and he's incredibly funny. And so,
Yeah.
if you haven't seen any of his stand-up specials, you go check him out. Also, another one I like is Chris D'Elia. I don't know if you've heard of him
I
or
have
seen some of
not.
his stuff. He's a funny dude. He's got a Netflix special out called No Pain. That's pretty decent.
Okay.
But I mean, if you look at some of his I say original, but like his first stuff that really popped him up on the scene was some of his more funnier stuff.
Yeah.
He's a funny dude. Um, so yeah, I mean, you can get lost in the comedy spectrum, and from a female perspective, I have to say it. One of my favorite female comics right now is Eliza Schlerzinger. I think
Yeah.
that's how you say her name.
Yeah.
She's fucking funny.
Yeah.
She's one of those chicks that can hang with the dudes and just like
Yeah.
she'll
She's a
kick you in
good
the
one.
balls just as hard as somebody else, you
Yeah.
know?
No, she's a good one for sure. There's a couple other ones that are on Netflix that I have a hard time with. They're just a bit annoying for me.
Mhm.
But she is one that is absolutely great.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I
And she's
agree.
hot. I mean, let's
Yeah.
just call it square
Yeah, she's
square, but
beautiful.
you know,
Yeah. That
makes it
helps.
easy. Makes yeah, definitely helps.
Yeah.
Definitely helps. But yeah, you can't go wrong with can't go wrong with Bert Kreischer though, man. Like
Yeah.
I've watched his special like a number of times just because it's like it's just hilarious. Like I
Yeah.
love the way he talks about like his family, like
Oh yeah, and his
eh,
daughters.
yeah,
It's just so
and
funny.
like I was
His the
laughing so hard.
his period story with his daughter.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
goes down in the books for me of one of the funniest sketches or skits
Oh, I know. I
in
know.
comic history, dude. It just it makes you uncomfortable and just hysterical laugh at the same time. And even if you don't have daughters, I could totally relate with like that's
Oh, 2
probably how
boys,
I would have
yeah, for
reacted
sure.
in many ways as well. So yeah,
Well, I always
he's
think, like, one of the funniest things that he did that resonated with me was, like, he's in Secret Time, he was talking about, like, where he and his family were on vacation and they were ziplining and, like, he's like, "This is my SEAL Team 6, you know, I got my wife's over here in Target jean shorts and socks and sandals, and we're going ziplining."
and then he has the was it the daughter that only got like halfway or something?
Well, no, and then he's got the one like where you clip in is where you go, and like one of his other daughters like clipped in between like a Korean
Oh
family,
yeah,
and she's
that's
like,
right.
and he's
Yeah.
like, it's your turn, Tiger Lily, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's great, man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Then she like racked her vajay on the end.
Yeah, that's
He
yeah.
always talks about that. Oh my
Gosh,
god.
dude. He is like the worst person to think to be the father of daughters, but I mean just through his comedy stuff, I'm sure he's probably a phenomenal father, but the way his
Yeah, no, I
comedy
mean
acts are, you're just
if
like,
you
"Oh
see him
god."
on social media, like you could see he's got a great relationship with his
Oh
family.
yeah. Yeah.
So he's good.
Yeah.
It's fucking great, man.
Ah,
But
crazy week. I don't know, you want to
yeah,
wrap it up a little early?
yeah, let's wrap this up, dude. I think we've gone down every rabbit hole we could right now,
Yeah.
with this one. And
It's hard sometimes when you're like us, you're a father, you got your family stuff, work going on to be in the loop with a lot of stuff. Even the things we talked about this week, I mean, I'm
but
surprised we found the time to do it. We've had such busy weeks.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, if you're looking for, the world's, top news stories, you're coming to the wrong place.
Yeah.
I mean, we're here to we're here to have fun, talk about what's interesting to us, and a lot about what's interesting to us is some stuff that's going on in the world. Others is what's going on in our own lives, and
Yeah.
what keeps us sane and happy in terms of what to watch and what to do and how to have fun. So
Yeah.
that's about it. Take us out, dude.
Thank you guys for tuning in yet again, episode 11. We're just rolling, having a lot of fun with all this. So we appreciate you guys listening or watching. On YouTube, like, subscribe, throw some comments down. If you're a listener on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, we're also on Instagram and Twitter. So come on by. And we will see you in the next one. Peace.